All right, we are back once again. So, welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast, episode 109. I am your host, Supreme King, and join with me, as always, is my co host, and his name is.
It's your guy Obazes.
How's everything going, man? How you
Bro,
doing?
they're making
Did
a Minecraft movie, so I don't really know how it's going. I don't
you
know
don't
how
know
to
how it's going?
process. They're making a Minecraft movie. Jack Black's in it. Jason Momoa's in it. I
So it's gonna be it's gonna be the Borderlands all over again.
so it might be, but I've been thinking about it, and it might end up being I don't want to say good, but
Mm-hmm.
it might end up being not terrible. So I was thinking about some of the more recent video game movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially since now they've figured it out. And according to some people, the Gran Turismo movie was pretty good. Super Mario Bros. Movie was good. Sonic has been really good. Werewolf Within has been good. And all of those in common, for most of the gameplay, it's not really story, right? So like Sonic
Mm-hmm.
has an overarching story, but majority of it is really just like run the level. Gran Turismo is a race, right? Mario is the overarching story of stop Bowser, save the princess, but it's really just platforming your way through,
Right.
right? Like all of them are games where you can kind of ignore the story, and still enjoy the game. Where you should get into the lore, but if you don't, eh. Whereas Mortal Kombat didn't do well, and that has a deep story. Uh, Resident Evil didn't do well, and that has a story, right? Like
Well, with
Borderlands.
Resident Evil, can we really say it didn't though? Because that one has like like almost a franchise in itself in just movies, right? Like it just
That's
kept they
fair.
kept coming back with them. They had
That's
the
fair.
girl that girl. What was the girl name? Because that's how they got the Matrix style girl in there that was not canon
Yeah.
whatsoever.
I was moreover referencing the newest one.
Yeah, yeah, I remember
But
they
no,
did
you're
do
right.
one
The
more.
other ones were success. That's not fair to the Resident Evil. You're right.
Because it kind
Oh,
of it influenced the change for Resident Evil 5, the game, and Resident Evil 6,
yeah.
technically. Which
Okay.
was
So
kind of like, depending on the fan, that was the dark period of Resident Evil,
true.
depending on the fan. But um, it was because the success in the movie world overtook the
Actual stuff.
horror in the
Yeah.
game. So that's a unique situation in itself.
Okay.
But
But yeah. So I guess,
yeah.
but like Mortal Kombat, Borderlands, Uncharted wasn't right that good.
Hmm.
Didn't really hear nothing from Assassin's Creed. I feel like the games where it's like there's already a heavy story or lore that you can't really ignore because it's part of the game, are the ones that don't end up translating well. Whereas the ones where you kind of get free reign on some of the story are the ones that are ended up doing okay. So Minecraft, I don't know how deep the lore is.
Is
I'll
that gonna
play
be
it.
live action? I feel like it would need to
Kinda.
be at least live action. There's no
It
way
is.
there.
So like
Okay.
Jack Black plays Steve and he's live action Jack Black. Jason
Okay.
Momoa's live action, but the world looks a little like live. It's like live action Minecraft. Like all the animals are still square and everything, so they're like digital and everything. But like
It might work for
live action,
kids. I can
yeah,
see a
maybe.
kid. I can see a kid doing it. But anyways, welcome to the podcast for the people. Thank you for tuning in, for whoever tunes in. I do want to address the agenda at hand. I have Marvel Avengers on the screen because I would never have Concord footage. But I mean, we're gonna beat a dead horse here because I think we're just gonna talk about Concord for a second. But Concord, yes, is dead. I want to put this footage up here just to represent a game that was delisted. I feel like Concord probably shouldn't have existed to begin with, but at the same time, it still represents to me like when the industry doesn't get their way, they kind of they really just get rid of something. I still don't like that too much, but
Yep.
I guess real quick, I do want to mention, yes, I did put out a video is not of quality that I really want, but I just threw something out there real quick because I was promising videos and couldn't get my settings right in time just because real life happens during the week. And then I'm gonna be honest, last weekend I was just playing the game, Black Myth Wukong, so I wasn't really recording. But yeah, the quality of the footage wasn't as where I would have wanted it to be. Like here, you can see at least with this is like a little bit more clear. I had the footage running through 2 computers, so it didn't really come out clear. But that's okay. Going forward, I'll have better quality stuff, and I am still gonna do some all audio content too, because it's still very easy to get that out. It's not much to do. So that's going to happen every now and then. That'll be like a filler video every now and then, but I'm still going to try to hop back on camera whenever I can. Anyways, though, we need to talk about the Dead on Arrival game. We already knew it was going to be Dead on Arrival, but it's like super Dead on Arrival.
PlayStation 8.
Yeah, because I remember, I think we said like last week or the week before, I just mentioned it in passing. I was like, yeah, this game is dead.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't even really give it that much time. But now we had like some extra details that came out regarding the game first. So what we didn't know, or at least I didn't know, is the game had like a $250 million budget.
And 8 years of development.
Yeah, like some crazy long time in development, just for the game to come out in its opening week and make like something like 25,000 or something.
Yep.
To the point where they issued the refunds and they wanted to close this down, and it hadn't been, I think, did this game have at least 3 weeks, or was it 2 weeks? Like
2? I think 3 because of the early access.
Okay, yeah, so it's officially going to go offline tomorrow as of this recording. PlayStation is looking to bounce back immediately with the Astrobot game, probably. But
it says it released August 23rd.
Yeah, that's crazy though. That's so crazy.
1 week would make August 30th. 2 weeks would have been tomorrow.
Yeah, like it's funny to laugh at it. I just kind of I have a little bit of a concern with the industry though, because somebody out there probably did not care that it was a Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy hero shooter ripoff, and they probably really wanted to play this and just got it snatched from them, you know? I would have rather, like, yes, it was dead, but, like, let's look at something like Destruction All-Stars. That was dead, too, and they put the code in there to make bots play, and it played by itself, and they left it alone. I almost feel like that's what they should have done with this, and just left it alone. And I don't know, because Destruction All-Stars got to have the same player base as Concord. It has to.
Yeah. I don't necessarily mind rip-off, like things like that. Like, I don't want to carefully use the word rip-off just because it's negative. But, like, inspired by it. I don't mind when other things are inspired where you can clearly... Because, like, certain things are just tropes. Like, if we take Guardians of the Galaxy, the trope is the, like, arrogant leader who's supposed to be charming, but doesn't actually know stuff. Yeah. The brute, the badass woman... assassin, the annoying little tech guy, and then his super strong partner who's like they're close bonded. Like that's a generic team trope. So the fact that this game did it too, it's fine. Like I don't like it. I don't mind that. But yeah, I don't like it when games are just like gone. Like, and I don't think this is gone. I think I know what they're trying to do. I expected this to be. Again, I think we mentioned it before, like a PlayStation Plus eventually game where they were going to hope that it blew back up.
It would have made more sense for them to debut it on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
But then if they were...
Also in the market, it's hard to market a live service game that you have to pay for, even if it doesn't have aggressive microtransactions. But it's also like there's already a saturated market of that type of stuff. And you're like, but play this one that you got to pay for. And it's like, well, no, if I want that style of game, I'm just going to play the one that's free. right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to kind of do that. Even though I wish more games did it because I don't like microtransactions. So like, I think this game is gonna relaunch free to play. I think they're
You
gonna
think
take
they
some
going
time. They're gonna slightly redesign it, put some more microtransactions in there, and then redrop it. It's gonna appear on PlayStation Plus, even though it's free to play. It's gonna be pushed as one of the games on PlayStation Plus. It's like an extra fourth game, and they're gonna try and get everybody back in it.
I think if they do it though, they'll reskin it, redo that. Like I don't think that they're gonna call it Concord and they're not gonna have the same voice actors. I
Oh,
think
I think they will.
I think they'll if this is the case, they would have to pretend it's a brand new game and hope nobody notices. But
I think they're just gonna be brazen and just drop it as Concord, like Concord
uh,
2.0.
I don't know, because at the same time, I think they also realized they were never gonna recoup their cost, like just based on such a downgrade it was. Like you talking
Yeah.
under $100,000. It was really under $50,000 made off of this, and they still had like Astrobot, which is projected to do way better, right? And whatever else they got in the back burner, we have like technically gone radio silent on Wolverine, which they might make a little bit more based off of that, right? But that's kind of not fair. That's a name brand already, but it it should not have existed. Let's really be honest. But the thing is, if they keep trying to come out with this, the industry really trying to force this, which is the live service thing, I mean, they're just going to be in trouble going forward. The industry is going to be very much in trouble because this is a lot of money to lose on one project. But if it starts to happen everywhere and all of a sudden everybody's got to consolidate or Microsoft's got to buy you, it's like, I don't know what to tell them, but
Here's why I think it's going to relaunch
why?
the free to play. It's specifically when they were talking about the cancellation. It said, "Thank you. We've heard your feedback, right? For those who are playing, while many of the qualities and experience resonate with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we intended. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th, so tomorrow, and explore options, including those that will better reach our players." So part of me thinks they're trying to cancel it now, give the refunds now, before just not doing anything with it, because they don't know what to do, right? So they don't touch it at all. And then whatever players are on there. Then they just announce, hey, we're going free to play, and then all the people who bought it now feel cheated because they're like, well, I bought in. So then they're like, here's a free skin. I think they're just like, you know what? We're just going to give the money back, take the loss now, restructure this as a heavy monetized, free to play. This is our hero shooter of PlayStation, and they're going to try and re-push it in our faces. That's what I think they're going to try and do.
My only concern with that, well, not really concern, but just question is just like, would it even make sense for them to continue to waste more money on it? If you're talking 250 million or something, like, I don't know.
I think they will. They also might end up pulling up a few more players out of the curiosity of people going, well, what do they do differently now? Like maybe, I don't know, but I feel like that's. It seems like from other things they said they didn't want to give up on it.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're gonna really try and find a way to try and make it work.
Well, this game has beat Forspoken's record, at least, because for Forspoken, like, that was considered a bad release, but it's still a game that you could probably find in the wild. Like, whether it was used or whether it was brand new, you could find that in the wild very cheap, right? It's just there. With this game, funny enough, there are physical copies that's out there, but you can't really do nothing with it. It's basically a frisbee. But what's been happening is there are people who are just trying to capitalize and make a quick buck, and apparently people have been trying to scalp the game on eBay. And not only that, it actually went over into their controller. I don't know if you remember, they had a special controller. And so both, like, the game is going for like 150 on eBay right now, apparently at most. And then the controller is going for almost 300, a little bit more than that in some cases, because of scalpers. And like, it's just being listed now. I don't know who's sitting here playing it. But it's being listed as that.
Well, some people are trying to do the. I don't know if you heard about them trying to get the platinum, but basically one of the
just in
one
time.
of the platinum requirements. Yeah, I don't think people are going to be able to get it, but one of the platinum requirements is to reach level 100, and they said only about like 12 players have reached that, like according to the stats, and like most of the people haven't even made level 50. The easiest way to gain experience. People are just loading into the match and then just running and jumping off of the side, like the cliff, and just dying because you automatically get experience without having to like spend time actually playing. And they're just doing that over and over, trying to level up as fast as possible. And one dude was complaining, saying he's been jumping off the side of the edge for like an hour and only went from level 44 to 45.
Man, I don't know how people got time to do all that, man.
They're just sitting there, just running.
I would play a whole nother game in that time and just enjoy the full game. I wouldn't even fool with that. Or all types of other stuff I could do with my time.
But yeah. Overall, it is sad to see this go. Like, I know they said, I think the hook for this game was that there was going to be like weekly or like monthly or something like cutscenes.
Yeah.
That like really drove the story. I feel like if you're going to do that, it should have just had a single player part to it. Like, honestly, I feel like this game would have done much better if there was some 6-hour single player campaign.
Cutscenes cost a lot of money too, though.
They do. And the cutscenes could have, again, been part of the single. Like, I feel like there's so many games where you really structure them as trying to be live service, especially if you're going to pay for them, the non-free-to-play ones. There's so many that will get so much more bought out of it if they just added a short campaign. Like a 5 to 6 hour campaign where you really get to know the characters. Since you're reusing these characters over and over as the generic suits, do something where you really get to know each of the characters. Like, that would have helped Destruction All-Stars. If each character had a little mini campaign that they weren't trying to charge you for, but they just, each one had like a 3-round, like, driving thing where you learned that character, but you get some backstory and some cheap cutscenes. It can be comic book style cutscenes. Which would probably be a little bit cheaper, and some voiceover stuff. And just each character gets that. I feel like that will help some of these games just last longer, and it'll give them the excuse to not actually cancel it or take it offline because there's a single player component to it. Right? So at the very least, anyone who still wants to go get it can do the little single player part.
Yeah, well, you looking at it in the way of what might benefit the gamer. I don't think they're looking at that at all. I think this game was designed to do one thing and make money, and it was not making money, and so they're saying, "We'll pull the plug." Well, at the very least, when one falls, another one rises. So when this goes when this goes offline, Astrobot is going to go online. That is going to it's going to basically replace it, I guess. I think there was a lot more people that was like pretty much looking to play that anyway. It is what it is.
Everything that I've heard about this game, because apparently a few of them dropped early. For people who pre-ordered, they just came out early. Everything I've heard is the game is just pure fun. Like there's nothing that just hate. It's just fun. Matter of fact, the negative reviews that I saw is people saying that like this game really shows you that PlayStation has done nothing with some of their IPs in so long, or this is one of the games that it drains the controller battery because it really uses all of the
I bet
all that other stuff.
I bet. But I'll have to wait till I get my other controllers. Really.
I'm ready for it.
But I think this is definitely the bigger name. It's not the first game in its series. It has the charm and everything. So Concord will go under, and this will go up. My only concern with the industry, though, is as we keep coming out with other games and stuff, is this something that's going to keep happening? Because now we're looking at the window of a game's performance being shortened even more. The one thing I didn't understand, or I still didn't like with like other companies and stuff, I didn't like how, initially Tango Gameworks was shut down, which was Hi-Fi Rush, and then now it's being brought back under another company. And I thought that was a little unfair to them and didn't make a lot of sense to me. And then we had like
Yep.
what was the game called? Knockout City? Is that what it was?
The dodgeball one.
Yeah, where it was just like, oh, we gotta cut it off on console or something, but we'll keep it open on PC. It's just like what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like certain games and stuff. It's like if it didn't sell, just leave it where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even with the physical copies, if you just didn't want to make more, that kind of sucks. But I would rather you have it where it is what it is. The people can host their own servers, and when the host server goes offline, the whole thing goes offline, that kind of thing. And just let the people have their fun with the games. I don't see why you would just throw it all away completely just because you didn't make your money. Because just like what I've said before in other podcasts, when it came to like other things like recouping money for acquisitions and stuff like that, it's like because you spent money on something is not really the gamer's fault, or if the gamer just did not want to play this, they want to play other stuff. I mean, the game on screen right now is literally the hottest game right now. It's white hot, right? Well, like, what game was really going to beat Black Myth Wukong right now?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and they came out around the same time. One's going to have the buzz, the other one's not. And it was going to get followed up with Astrobot. And then there's a bunch of Nintendo games, right? That's like
Nintendo
right
games are
there.
coming out. Warhammer's
So,
coming out for those that are that type of fan. Like,
yeah.
if you're a Warhammer fan, your game is like a week away, like it's 5 days away. Like, it comes out on Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. And then you got Astrobot, you got Black Myth Wukong, you got the Nintendo games. People got Sonic to look forward to. Like, I'm sorry, but like, it's stacked and there's only so many hours. Like, in the day.
October is a very stacked month in itself. So there would have never been any breathing room in this part of the year. Everybody wants to try to get stuff out right now so that they make it in time for the Game Awards and they make it in time for the holiday season. So the game was never going to have a chance to breathe to begin with.
Nope. And then when you release a game that is, again, it's a saturated market in a style that like many gamers are starting to not really like, right? This live service element.
Yeah.
And your hook isn't strong enough. Like, again, like with the game on the screen, right? It got compared to being a Souls-like or like an action adventure akin to like a harder God of War. But then part of the hook is the whole Chinese mythology and everything, right? Like, and along with being a really fun game, but there's a hook of that mythology that people are going to really sink their teeth in. Whereas your hero shooter with like the space aesthetic and your only real hook is that there's some cutscenes coming out every once in a while, not even regularly scheduled. It's going to be hard to compete. It's hard to compete.
Yeah, I just think it's almost like if somebody who's mad because they're at a gas station or something, they played some scratch tickets and they just didn't get what they wanted or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it just, the behavior behind it seems a little odd. It just seems because it's not just this one game. This one game is a very extreme case because you're talking about not really even giving it a full month. And it's like, do games really pop off that early? Like, only a few games have that type of power. Like, even with this year, we were talking about really, Power was one of the starts. Helldivers 2, Black Myth Wukong right now, and maybe something else in the middle. Maybe, because even Final Fantasy, for the people who liked it, like it was still a good game. It's just it did not do the sales that they wanted. Square Enix wanted. but it's like they didn't just cut it off. It's just like I don't even think they would have gotten away with that type of game, right? But like there were other games that came out. There's plenty of other games out there, and you don't just hear all of a sudden we gotta like close everything down, fire everybody, and like get rid of it in like 2-3 weeks. That's kind of silly. Imagine any job like just do it in that small amount of time. That's insane. But yeah, it is what it is. We can move forward. We spent a lot of time on this. Concord is officially dead. I had already said it before. I think a lot of people knew that. We spent like the first like couple weeks or so in the reveal just laughing at it. Really. My last thing to say about this is like they need to start making games that stand the test of time with the thought process of it being another classic instead of like something that's supposed to print money over and over again. Because you got to really think like, is a person really just going to come out of nowhere and be like, I guess I'm just going to start forking over money to this forever? Like nobody even thinks that way. Like nobody thinks that way about no game. It don't even make sense to think that way about a game. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is addicted to like the mobile game type of like hook and sink kind of thing. Like if I don't like something or if I don't feel like I got a good deal, I will go to something else. I'm not going to sit here and give you an extra $30-$40 every week. Right. It's goofy. It's just goofy. But yeah, we can move on. Shout out to Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong being on the screen right now. There was more news that I heard about it that I think I had reported something a little bit more inaccurate last week or something. Because I believe, well, actually, Black Myth Wukong, the developers said that they had to delay the Xbox version indefinitely. I think that is still a fact that they said that. The reason on paper that was given was that they had like a memory leak or something, and so that was a bug that they had to fix. But I think it's now starting to come out, and it's still not necessarily confirmed, but it sounds like PlayStation may have had something to do with it by handing them a very big check to make sure Xbox doesn't get the game. That's what people are alluding to. And so
ability at work.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, but
that's such a villain move to do. Like, dang, I guess there's a memory leak, right? Like, it's just like, yeah, they over here flipping through the money like memory leak. That sounds good.
How do you just say the game is delayed indefinitely and it's just like out running with no problem on a whole nother system as well as PC? I don't know, but it's still at the end of the day the best way to play on PC, high-end hardware if you can afford it. But yeah, that's what's being said. It's kind of old news now. I don't really feel like I need to touch on it too much. But Black Myth Wukong is still a dope game. This footage is actually the extended footage from the video that I actually put up. So you're seeing like more of my just going back and forth with the wandering white boss. Which is like a big man child that hits really hard. But yeah, the game is still dope. It still is what it is. I do still think it should be game of the year contender. But yeah, Xbox, we don't know if it would ever get the game. It almost sounds like it might not. I really would not like for the developers of this game to burn a bridge with them, even if they are like considered last place or something. Things could change in the future. We have no idea. I think it would be more detrimental to them overall to try to alienate for one little paycheck. This game is putting them on the map as a studio, and so I'm pretty sure they want to go from studio to publisher one day. So yeah, it is what it is. Dope game. Should it win game of the year? Do you think so? Should it be in the argument? It definitely should be in the argument.
It should be in the argument for sure. I gotta play Astrobot first before I make that decision.
Astrobot will probably be in the argument. I think I don't know which Nintendo game would make it, but maybe that Zelda one. And then definitely Helldivers and Power World should probably be there for their impact. Yeah, I don't know who else I'm leaving out. Maybe Final
Final
Fantasy,
Fantasy.
a little bit of
Yeah.
Tekken. Yeah.
Final Fantasy, Tekken, anything else? Uh, no, I think that's it.
I don't know.
Oh, see how Warhammer does as well. That's
Yeah,
probably gonna win game
I
though.
think out of everything though, this one, Black Myth Wukong may have made the most in sales. It's
Yeah.
already it's past
Well,
10 million.
as you know from last year, that don't mean nothing.
Yeah, this would be a very crazy situation if this is just like ignored. Because at
Yeah.
that point, I would probably say, even though we try to cover every little thing we can gaming wise, if this game gets ignored, I honestly
We
think,
ignored them.
yeah, I think if anything, we would probably say, hey, these are the releases. But
Yeah.
I don't think we should
You know what?
talk
We say
about
the
the reward
releases,
show.
and then we do our own award show.
Yeah, we
That's
would
what
just
we'll
have to
do.
have our
It
own
gets
thing.
ignored. We do our own, with some categories. We don't have to necessarily follow theirs, and we
Yeah,
can discuss who wins.
because nobody really
Maybe
cares
those
about
who
the
are listening
esport
can add their
categories.
answers too.
Yeah, nobody cares about certain categories anyway, like the
Yeah,
esports and stuff anyway.
we can
Um,
talk about real streamers of the year, like
but what's
the
really
other
crazy
past stuff.
is it's just you would also know like who infiltrated that award show for sure. And it would kill the award show for me. I could never watch it again. That would include Summer Games Fest. I would only just want to see the announcements. I'll just watch the trailers like the next day or something. I could never watch again. This has
No,
to get mentioned. There's no way you can sit there and act like it doesn't exist. There's no way. It's no way. It's impossible at this point. Yeah, but
I'm excited to see. Oh man, now I'm gonna prepare. We'll do like a shorter one. Like if we do a game show, it'll be like maybe 10 total categories.
yeah,
Like, we can leave out. Who cares about the esports team? No offense to esports teams, but I don't care.
hopefully they do the right thing and be objective and be fair and just look at the real engagement out here, because this is one of those games where you just really can't ignore it, you know.
Should've
It's
done that
like
last year,
yeah,
but it's
it's
fine.
crazy. Yeah, but I do want to go ahead and move on. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and do the Epic Game stuff right now.
But
Just because we can just get it out of the way. And so shout out to Epic Games, who is our unofficial sponsor. They've always been our unofficial sponsor, and they give you free games, and free is free. We all love free. There's nothing to complain about when it comes to free, because it's free. But yeah, you can create a profile. You don't need your credit card. I've said this a million times already. And once you create a profile, you log in on a PC, on a handheld, whatever you desire, and all of the games that you saved will all be right there. Even if you don't have a PC right now, create the profile, keep adding those games, because they've been giving out bigger and smaller games. And now we have for September 5th, which is today of this recording, to September 12th, they're giving away Football Manager 2024. For football, they're actually referring to soccer if you're an American, to not be confused with something like Madden. This is just soccer basically, but Football Manager 2024. And then they're also giving out Sniper Ghost Warriors contract or Warrior contracts. That's another one for the 5th to the 12th. And then from the 12th to the 19th, I didn't look into it yet, but this was a blast from
I
the
thought
past when I saw this name. So,
I thought
Rugrats Adventures in Gameland. I hadn't heard of
yeah.
Rugrats in forever. I remember
So
when Rugrats was the hottest thing in like the early 90s, but yeah.
right? So this game looks not old. Uh, I'm trying to figure out when it came out.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it came out this year. Okay.
Okay.
But basically, it's a platformer where
Yeah.
the babies imagine themselves in a video game after, I guess, hearing about one. So it should probably like mock a few video games based off of like how they heard it, but it's a platformer where I heard you get to choose between like HD or 8-bit graphics, depending on how you want it
Mm,
to look when you go through. But it looks like just a fun little platformer for Rugrats. I am ready for it.
a platformer. Shout
I
out
didn't
to the
even know this thing
platformers.
existed until I saw it on there, and I'm like, I can't wait.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
we got
strange.
Astrobot, Warhammer, and Rugrats coming free.
I
So,
wasn't expecting them to pull this out. I still remember when they kind of derailed the series when they called themselves like putting them in high school or something. I forgot what it was. Like,
mine all grown up. It was okay.
yeah, they,
Well, I was near that age at the time, so it
yeah.
was like the babies when I was a baby were teenagers when I was about to be a teenager. They also did a reboot though. It's like 2021.
Okay,
Uh,
I think I
that I
remember
haven't
here.
watched yet, but I heard it wasn't that good.
Yeah, well, in the gaming sphere, they brought this back, and it could be a cool blast from the past for somebody. And shout out to the retro scene because that's gonna lead into the next topic in a second. But yeah, this game is out here. Although, what am I trying to say? The other game is Super Crazy Rhythm Castle. I don't know too much about this either, but
Uh,
free is free.
Looks like a
You.
co-op game
Mhm.
where you're like it looks like a top-down, almost like shooter, but I think you have to do things to the rhythm of the beat.
Okay, okay. I can feel that. I can feel that. That should be pretty cool. And so yeah, man, they're putting out these games like an oil machine, man. Here's a free one after a free one after a free one. Because we've been doing the podcast thing for a while, and I think as early as the first episode, I think we've always been saying like, hey, here's a free game coming from Epic, and if this is 109 episodes and they're doing 2 to 3 games per week, that's a lot of games to have on your profile. So by the time you really do get a PC, if you don't have it, you're looking at 100 plus games, 200, 300 games. I don't know, a lot. I think the last time I
Yeah.
looked at it for myself, it was almost in the 300 range. It was like really high 200s, and I know I've only like bought like a handful under that profile because I usually buy everything under Steam. But yeah, I bought a few games under there like Alan Wake 2. And speaking of Steam, there is actually funny enough a free game that I have to report from Steam as well. So a lot of free games this week, and the free game is called slash forward slash, as in the actual symbol on your keyboard, and then fun, FUN. Slash is spelled out just like slash, SLASH. And it's really just a little like hack and slash platformer somebody put on Steam for free. That actually came out August 23rd, 2024. But it's free. You can literally go and add it to your Steam account. So make sure you have accounts for both Epic and Steam and just get all this free stuff. Why not? Somebody took the time to make it and did it as a passion project, I'm sure. It's really just a very generic little thing. And definitely go out there and grab that. Go handle that. I did want to transition to another topic, but did you have anything you wanted to say as far as free stuff? Anything you've seen sales wise? Anything you want to just mention right now?
Nope.
All right.
I ain't got no.
So I do want to mention, I just want to jump into emulation for a split second, and talk about some of these devices that are coming out. It's a device that comes from a company called Anbernic, a device that I ordered. I think you ordered it as well, and it has not come yet for me at least. But according to my shipping and handling, it's somewhere in the States on its way to me. But there was a device called the RG40XXV, which is a hot device right now in the retro scene, the retro emulation scene. And so there's a tiny bit of controversy there that I probably want to clear up, because it's only controversial to people who are not cultured on what to do. But apparently, the device, when you update it, it's a give and a take here. So the firmware that Anbernic put on this device and the other ones in this tiny little series is good enough to where you probably don't have to wait for a custom firmware, which is pretty good. The problem is when you do the update on the device, the space that's needed gets filled to the max. And they even released a statement that I think I could pull up, but basically it's like a 16 gig like OS or something that just so happened to fill the space in the 64 gig SD card that comes with the device. So once you do it, it can no longer have any new games dragged and dropped on it, because it's filled to the capacity. Anybody who's cultured would know you are supposed to take the that hard drive, or not hard drive, that SD card, and basically back up the stuff that's on it, and then flash the software onto a whole nother SD card that's actually got some real size, so that you could put all the games on there that you want and then some, right?
Okay.
But on the Abernic page for this, they mentioned the system update, and they said after writing the 16 gig version of the operating system, you will not be able to expand the SD card or install ROMs on the SD card. So that's something they just want you to know. It's kind of it's a little expected that something like that could happen. The device that you're really trying to get is just the hardware itself anyway. Everybody knows those little SD cards burn out after a few months because they're faulty. They're not name brand SD cards. They're not built to last at all. They're not built to hold data for long periods of time. And so what you just want to do is make sure you get an SD card of a proper size. I recommend doing it to the max, which is the 512 gig SD cards, which is the 0.5 terabyte cards. This thing can hold 2 cards, so you should have plenty of space to get all the games on there, from the N64 to the Dreamcast, the PS1. I think they got a little bit of PSP, and also Nintendo DS. Now, when it comes to some of them higher end ones for that, I still recommend that you play this on a regular device like a Steam Deck or a Rogue Ally, Lenovo Legion Go. Legion, I don't know if I said it right. Luigi Mansion handheld. Any one of these little handhelds out here that plays regular PC games, they're gonna handle those games with no problem. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because they put that out there. I still think the device is fantastic. I've watched videos of people who already have it on the custom, or not custom, but on the the software on the stock software as is. It's running all the systems just fine. The update did a little bit of some bug fixes, I guess, and so the people said it's been playing a little bit more smooth. And I already have majority of what I need from other devices like the Mayu Mini, so I'm just waiting for it to come in so I can load it all up. Just like Anbernic, to be Anbernic, I do want to mention real quick, and then we can move on to one of our last topics. They've also just announced a whole nother system. So I don't know, I don't understand what's going on in the emulation scene with them, but they're really just saying, create another device, and it's like every other couple of months. But just off of the new release of this, it ain't even been out that long, they've shown off another device that's supposed to be an upgrade from the device that has 2 analog sticks and should be able to play up to like the GameCube or something, and like the Wii or whatever. And so the device that they showed was the RG406V, and so it's like so much more powerful. I don't really recommend that device at all. I think if you get to that point, you need to just go ahead and put in a little bit more extra money and at least just get the lowest end model of the Steam Deck, because I believe you could find that brand new actually for under $400. You're better off doing that, but this is going to cost you somewhere in the $150 range because that's what its predecessor was. I imagine they're going to do the same thing with this. And so that's kind of out of the cards. The device that I'm waiting for was like a $60 device. That's like a no-brainer for the things that you're going to be able to do with it. 150 is like, you know what? Save a little bit more, get the Steam Deck. Don't even fool with it, because you don't really want to have like, oh, it plays all of this, but it's lacking on this. It's like, no, you want a proper device, a device that can play real games right now, like Black Myth Wukong. But yeah, I just want to mention all that nerd curl stuff, and we can move on.
Okay.
Any other topic you got real quick before I go to the next thing?
Short wrestling thing real quick. I just saw that Cody Rhodes is being sued.
Sued
as
by
well as
who?
like the toy making company. Apparently there was the lead singer of some band that was like from like the 90s and early 2000s, and they reformed in 2010 called American Nightmare. And they had come to some they had like had the name trademarked, and then Cody went to go trademark the name in 2019, and they came to an agreement. Cody paid them like $30,000 for the trademark, but then the agreement was that whatever thing is like advertising him, basically, the American Nightmare thing has to be like 25% or like less of the screen. Like it can't be like a giant American Nightmare and then Cody. It's supposed to be like 75% other stuff, and then American Nightmare can take up at most 25% of the marketing. I guess that was the agreement they came up to. And apparently all of the new like action figures and stuff, they've been really blasting the words American Nightmare, so now the dude's suing.
Oh my gosh.
Easy payday. But that's what it feels like. It's like easy payday, but
Well, hopefully they figure that out.
yeah. So I just saw that. That was like brand new. But other than that, nothing.
All right. Well, on to the last little thing here that we can mention. This was my co-host's most anticipated part of the show. It was the main Monster Tamer Direct. Everybody didn't watch. My co-host watched. How'd you feel about this show?
I didn't watch it.
Oh my gosh. Co-host was falling
I know
off.
what Monster Tamer game I want already, because I didn't watch the show.
Listen, they had a whole bunch of them. They had so many Monster Tamer I didn't even know this was like a whole thing. But I guess it was a thing. And it wasn't really that big of a show. It didn't really get that many views. But I saw it. It was treated, and they ran it like a real show and was professional about it. And they had real games that you can wish list on Steam. So I was like, you know what? I'll take it serious. I'll watch this show. I actually pulled a lot of different little games here. And what's crazy about it is this is not really my genre like that. Like, this is only something that I'm just now kind of getting into. But some of the stuff that they had, I liked. And I can mention a few of them. But first, I just want to say the show was 115 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes long. And
wait, which one?
I don't know.
I think
I know it's two. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait, no, it was 115 minutes. So it was well, no, it not 100. You know how they make it 100 on like YouTube when you hit a certain thing? It was an hour and 15 minutes. It was 75 minutes.
Okay.
It was 75 minutes.
Okay.
It didn't feel like it dragged though. It didn't really feel like it dragged. It just was a lot of different games that they showed back to back, and then some of them they gave a little bit more time to. So the first one that I wrote down was called Myth Caller the Nightmare Shaman, which sound like a horror-ish kind of one. But what I liked about that one is that they had a mix of 2D and 3D, and there was some light platforming with it. And it was still, your monster taming type game. Most of these games had the monster taming thing to it, and you would, catch them. You do turn-based stuff. There's a couple of them that looked like it was kind of action-based, but it's probably what you expect if you grew up playing these type of games, especially if you had like a bunch of them emulated on your phone, because I know that was a whole lot of things like that at one point. But yeah, I like that one. The next one I wrote down was called Rizimon, which is RISI Mon, MON. Pretty straightforward. It has like some of these had like really nice colorful graphics to it. There was a good portion of them that looked like old school Game Boy Color Advanced, like in that era when you used to like really be pixelated walking around, and then like the exclamation mark would come up on somebody's head, and then they would just like run to you and attack. Like it had a lot of that. I had that. The next one that I actually put in parentheses, this is the best one. This was called Mon Tamers, MON Tamer. That one had the best graphics. The developer was trying to do a mix of turn-based and action. It looked like he took some inspiration from Power World as well, because he was trying to get some action into it. And you have your choice to like do turn-based battles or action battles, which is something I didn't really see before, because I'm so used to looking at like Final Fantasy VII, Intergrade and Rebirth, for example, where like when you get in the middle of like an action scene, it like literally freezes it and turns it into turn-based. It was like one of those things where it wouldn't freeze it, and you'd have the choice to like go either way. Like it was hard to like really explain. You would have to just watch the trailer. Okay. But dope trailer. I thought that was the best looking game. And then the next one I saw, because I wrote down a few of these. I want to play. I want to play a couple of these, like probably on the handheld for sure. All of these look like they look like they play best on probably Steam Deck or something, like one of those kind of handhelds. The next one I thought was interesting because it was called Isle of Swaps, and it's a card game type of like a tamer game, but it looked like all the old cards. Like it had in the game where you can go up to a vending machine, buy a booster pack, or go to a store and buy a booster pack, and the booster pack was set up with the same type of game, like the same type of cards where like it's like one good card and like a few doubles and stuff, and you would sit down and play the actual game. And it also had it where you could put it inside of like the inside of the binder where it has like 9 cards on one page, and you turn it over and there's another 9 cards and stuff. And it was just like all in the game, where it's like they really like captured that whole lifestyle that a lot of people are so very, very much obsessed with. And that was one of them that had a demo. It was a lot of games here that had demos. I think that was the only one that I wrote down that had a demo. And it says that it's coming out. This one had an actual release date too. It's coming out September 27, 2024. So right around the corner. It's a few of these games that's like that. They had like a couple other ones that were like card based too. But this one is like, you would just like be in awe of just like the way they set this up. Because the first thing it reminded me of is like elementary school, basically, like showing my age of like when you used to just do this. Like you used to go buy all these like booster packs a lot, and you had the full loose leaf where you're showing them off at school and stuff, and it was just like all in the game like that, which I thought was just crazy to show. And then the last one that I put down was a very interesting concept, because I believe these guys are not affiliated with Digimon. However, they created a Digimon inspired game with the actual Digimon in it. And I have to look into this to see like how far they can go with this, because maybe this probably shows why this particular direct was not necessarily officially related with the other ones, because they may have took some liberties here, because this is definitely a fan made emulation-ish type thing. But it's called Digital Tamers 2. If you Google it, it'll be like one of the first two links. The game is completely free. It's available right now. You can download it. I've already downloaded mine. It's a very small file. It's not even a gig. And then it's two versions. It's either a mobile version or the PC version. I downloaded the PC version. And basically it plays just like a lot of these other Monster Tamer games that's inside of this direct. But it's a fan favorite immediately because it had a lot of Digimon in there that everybody remembers. But I think they even had a little disclaimer thing that they put on the screen. It was like, you know how you say like, this is not affiliated or blah, 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 blah. These people own it. So they had that. They can't sell it, but on their page, when you go to download, they'll ask for like a donation, and it automatically sets it to like $5. Technically you can bypass it and just download, but I guess they're asking for a donation. I don't know if they're gonna get sued, and I don't know if it's gonna get taken down, because it's not theirs. They're like almost like, you know, one cease and desist away. So I would say definitely go and get it. This is your nugget at the very end of the show. Go get it and download it immediately, so you can at least have it. Because I could imagine if this was the Pokemon one and it said Pocket Tamers 2, it would have been a wrap. Like it would have, that would have been gone. It would have been definitely gone. But yeah, a lot of good games here. I advise everybody to take a look at this this little direct that had less than 10,000 views. It was just called Monster Taming Direct. And I don't really know any of these guys. I'm not affiliated with any of these people. I just like dope games. I had about 5 different ones that I wish list here. And so yeah, new genre for me. I'm still technically playing some of the more popular ones. And do we even count? Does Persona count as a Monster Tamer? I don't even know. I don't know. It's like right on the edge. It's like teetering in the middle.
Right, because you're collecting the Personas. So
yeah, it's right there in the middle. Obviously Digimon, they even had a Digimon game here. Yeah, the card game was a highlight to me because it looked exactly like some of the old cards. Like it really looked like it. Every little thing about it. How they really broke it down on how like the logic of the cards worked and stuff, instead of just collecting them. Like you can collect them digitally in the game, but like it really broke down like the way the cards work. Yeah, I think I think they had something cool here. It sounded like they'd done this in the past, like 2 more times before. So it might interest me to go look at those other shows on my own time, just because they're older. But yeah, I actually went ahead and subscribed to the channel. I want to see if they put some more stuff out there. I would definitely want to include it going forward. Just because I got to give them a shout out, because this show was not jam-packed with 1,000 other shows. It came out on its own time, different from everything else. And it's not on the same week as, like, I think was it last week or the week before, we had like 2 or 3 shows and stuff. I encourage more shows to show up, as long as you're showing games. And this one did not do. There was no politics really. It was just simply here's a monster tamer game, and I really appreciated that. 2D games, 3D games, they had a bunch of them, and so they were all there. That's all I got, I think, for this. Slightly over an hour long, and that's cool. Any last words? Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, I went ahead and downloaded the Digimon one.
You saw it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody definitely download the Steam game, download the Epic Games. But you want to jump on this like almost immediately, the Digital Tamers 2. It actually makes me want to go look and find the first one. I don't know how old the first one was, but if it's there, I'll definitely download. But yeah, you want to jump on some of these kind of games because they cease and desist these things so fast. It's like, geez, man, some of these people they just want to put together a fun fan game. Let the people rock. But yeah, hopefully next week I can give you some impressions on that Anbernic device if it comes in. It seems like it should come in by the end of, maybe before the podcast next week, because we're at the end of the week now. Hopefully it comes in next week. I don't know if my co-hosts, are you going to play Astrobat immediately?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think we're going to have the footage, unfortunately, but
Okay.
we might can figure it out. Yeah, we'll have the impressions at least. For him, he's going to play it. I'm not going to play it until like Christmas. I need to make sure I get more controllers. If it's going to melt my controllers, I need to get more controllers first. There's 2 of them that I'm going to get. But I am going to buy it before this year's up. And I'm going to buy some of them Nintendo games as well. But yeah, that's all I got. Like, comment, share, subscribe, watch my other video for, I think it was 5 minutes. Watch it, and then watch whatever I got coming out next week. And I will see you then. Peace.